cleansed, were they not? Where are the other 9? Has none but this foreigner returned to give thanks to God? Jesus didn't say the other 9 were not grateful, but he said only this one returned to give thanks to the Lord. And Jesus said to him, stand up and go. Your faith has saved you. You see, psychologists today will tell you that we are made whole by thanksgiving. Psychologists will tell you that thanksgiving is the healthiest of all human emotions. It is the healthiest of all human emotions. Thanksgiving produces more positive energy than any other attitude in life. A thankful heart endears you to other people. A thankful heart endears you to God. And a thankful heart endears you even to yourself. So we need to be thankful today. Thankful for the blessings of life. Thankful for even the burdens of life. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 18, the Bible says, give thanks in all circumstances. Now, it doesn't say give thanks for all circumstances, but it says give thanks in all circumstances. In other words, no matter what you are going through, in the midst of it, keep giving thanks. Because whenever you give God thanks, you put yourself in a better position to receive again. You see, the Bible tells the story of the 3 Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were in the midst of the fire. They were thrown in the fire, okay? And when they were thrown in the fire, they probably were thinking this is the end of it. But there was somebody waiting for them in the heart of the fire. And when they got in there, the 4th man reached out his hands to them, welcomed them, and took off the chains from their hands. You see, the 4th man was in the fire before they got there. He didn't join them in the fire. He was there before they got there. Do you realize that every circumstance that you are going through in life, the Lord is already in that circumstance before you get in it? And that is why we need to be thankful, because his word says, I am with you always, even unto the end of time. Whatever you are going through, the Hebrew boys got their hands loose, the chains were taken off, but they didn't leave the fire. There was no way out of the fire, but there was a way through the fire. And in the midst of the fire, Daniel chapter 3 tells us that they were praising God. They were going back and forth, praising God and thanking God in the heart of the fire. And because they were thanking God in the midst of the fires became air conditioners. Thanksgiving endears you to God. There was no way out of the fire, but there was a way through the fire. You may be in a circumstance in your life right now and you don't see a way out of it. But I want to report to you, there may not be a way out of it, but there's a way through it. And in the midst of it, you can keep giving God thanks. And when you give God thanks in the midst of the circumstance, he tempers the situation. Your fires become air conditioners. So today we need to say thank you. Because giving thanks is a sign of a growing Christian. When you give God thanks, you see, children don't know how to thank. You can take a kid, say a 1-year-old, and you walk the child up and down the floor. Do they say thank you? They maybe even start crying more for you to do more. There are a lot of believers, they are like that. They are spiritual babies. No matter what God does for them, they keep crying for more without saying thank you. Thank you is a sign of maturity. It's a sign of a growing Christian. If you are not a thanks-living Christian, you are not a growing Christian. The sign of a growing Christian is that you learn to say thanks to God every day in every circumstance. Thanksgiving is also the mark of a giving Christian, because it is not just thanks, it is also giving. You know, how many times do you go to the restaurant and after you have eaten and you pay your check, you give a tip? And sometimes this restaurant this day, they tell you the percentage of tip you have to give. Some will tell you give 15% of the service charge or 20%. You go to a restaurant, you bought the food and you paid with your own money, and they're telling you pay another 20% on top of that. to thank us for serving you. But we come to the house of God, and many of us cannot even give 10% to thank God for everything that God has given us for free. You may be here